What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? You know what it is. It's Sports with Ray. My name is Ray Rob, Raymond, also Raymond, whatever you want to call me, man. Just call me humble, man. I'm very happy to be back, be here. I love talking sports. It's been a crazy few weeks in sports. Let's go ahead and just dive into it. Well, you know what? Before we dive into it, holiday season is coming up, so I just want to wish everybody happy holidays. You know, I'll say if you got any issues with people and things of that nature, if it's reconcilable, man, just try to make peace. You know, today everybody always says today's not promised. And things are reconcilable as well. Sometimes it just takes a real conversation. Both people need to be held accountable and be able to build, learn from their mistakes, and grow. Let's just try to do that. It's too much negative energy out here. Everybody talks about energy and everything, but I don't really understand the power. I don't think people understand the power that they have and how it could be transferred and everything of that nature. So, you know, happy holidays, man. Let's keep building. 2024 is near. Let's just get straight to it. Michigan's stand-in head coach, Sharon Moore, up and coming assistant coach, offensive coordinator, doing a great job. He's going to be a head coach soon. A lot of people have already kind of beat this drum, but man, what the hell was you doing? What the hell? It was a great emotional game. If you haven't checked on my page, I am an Old State fan. I've also been the same fan that said for years. I've told my brother-in-law and most Michigan fans when they were trash that, hey, in order for the Big Ten to be what we are, we need y'all to be Michigan again. I was saying this 4 or 5 years ago when they were mediocre, when they hated Jim Harbaugh. I said, not only are y'all going to have to be who y'all are, we're going to have to lose to y'all a couple times in order for people to believe. But what I also said is y'all going to have to win a national title. The goal shouldn't be just to beat Ohio State, which it seems that that's all it is. It's like, Ohio, you know what? I'll get to that. I almost got fired up. I got, because I just see so many contradictions that people are letting things ride, but I'll get to that. But Sharon Moore, you know what? For the kids, that was a lot. It may have not been fair or not, the Big Ten waiting until the end of the week and everything, the day before to suspend the coach, but I'm pretty sure they had a little bit of knowledge of it. They were prepared either way. They were able to go on the road against Penn State in a hostile environment who has no offense. No offense. Mike Zurelich got fired after the game, or Urelich, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. This will be the seventh coordinator, essentially, that James Franklin will go through. I just don't get it. I don't understand because they have the talent. This is where systems do matter and coaching does matter because Drew Aller has a big time arm and all this stuff, and he's not allowed to do anything besides throw a check down. They don't like to not be able to go deep in the college game when you have athletes that can go deep and win. They did decent against lesser opponent teams, but against Ohio State and Michigan, those are 3 of the 5 best defenses in the country. I get that, but to not have any threat to go deep in 2023, and you're not like Army or Navy or a team that runs a triple option or something like that, it's just crazy to me. And you got a big arm quarterback that's not allowed, or the offense doesn't allow him to go deep. And you got 2 great running backs that it seems like they're being stifled. But they were going back and forth. Michigan, they're deep. They got 3 great running backs. McCarthy, he was in a Heisman run. I'm not going to lie. I think McCarthy's very good. I think he's pretty good. He has the opportunity to show that he is great. Me personally, how I feel is he's always been a 50 to 60% completion percentage guy. Now he's up to 70%. The team is dominant, but where are you when those big games arrive? When he played Ohio State last year, It was those 5 broken plays. Kudos to them for getting it, but he was 53%, 54%. And then TCU, they didn't get to steal the signs or whatever. But, he wasn't able to outduel, I forgot the quarterback's name for TCU. I apologize. He finished second in the Heisman. It lost my train of thought, man. It'll come to me. But I think he's just decent. I think he's really good. He has a chance to be great. But they gutted out a win, but he went 7 for 8 for 60 yards. Marvin Harrison went 4 for 25 with 2 touchdowns. Everybody, I know it's a quarterback award per se for the Heisman, but I don't want to hear about him in the Heisman. You can't you can't be a Heisman contender and you're the quarterback. You're the quarterback in 2023 where you throw the ball and they threw the ball one time in the second half. They ran 32 straight times. So they gutted out a victory. It was a tough win. Very impressive. Well, what they went through, what those kids went through, they're definitely fired up. I said it's going to be one of two things. Either it's going to implode, because, they're acting like victims, which is crazy. I don't get it. And a lot of people in the NFL, a lot of these NFL pundits that are making arguments on these TV shows, they don't make any sense because they're just overlooking the rules. Now, we all can agree that college sports has antiquated, old-ass, outdated rules that need to be updated. But the fact is that rules are rules. And this is a specific rule that they knew, that everybody knew. And then, and it's not just, the stealing signs. Come on, man. Now, we're not, everybody's innocent to proven guilty, but damn it, to say Connor Stallions didn't look crazy, and if he didn't look crazy, why'd y'all fire him? Y'all should have just suspended him with pay. Because how come he's not innocent till proven guilty? It doesn't make any sense. Y'all fire, he don't want to be a distraction. You could have suspended him without pay, had him go away. But it makes sense. They fired him, I guess, so if he's not on the staff, so he's not faculty or anything like that, so he doesn't have to testify and stuff like that. They knew what they were doing. And I know, I always harp to the fact that Harbaugh was on the verge of getting fired in 2020. They were 2-5. Let's not forget. Everybody talking about the record and all. They were 2-5 in that COVID-shortened season, and they ducked out of playing Ohio State, which gave them essentially 2 years to study Ohio State and put that system in place. Now, in 2021, they were just more powerful. They muscled Ohio State. They overpowered Ohio State. They were the better team. And last year in 2022, I don't believe they were the better team. But they played better. Ohio State was winning in the third quarter, and then those 5 broken plays because Ohio State got muscled in 2021, and then those came in with the defense, just selling out, going all out and everything like that, and they got burnt. And 5 busted plays. The plays that happened in the Michigan game happened in the Georgia game as well. We easily could sit here, but we can't do this, but you could easily sit here and say Ohio State should be the national champions. Because, but hey, you got to give kudos, but they didn't win, so they not. But Michigan, outside of those five broken plays, broke the game over, and they averaged 3 yards a play, not per carry, per play, the whole game. So kudos to them. They've only lost 3 games since the cheating stuff has started. And whether you believe it or not, I'm just saying that's a drastic change. I know if it was and you listen to Desmond Howard, who came up with all these different excuses, and I get it. I said, I went to Cincinnati, but Herb Street does the opposite. He rarely sides with Ohio State. I know he tries to keep it to the middle, but a lot of Ohio State people feel like he just goes all the way to the polar opposite. Woodson and all them, they just sound crazy. I get it. If Ohio State had somebody on somebody else's sideline and all that dumb stuff. Like, like you got documents and stuff like that. The stuff that Connor did, nobody's disputing that. Everybody's saying that Jim didn't know. When in college is a coach or somebody on the sideline allowed to do something crazy to that extent, but the coach doesn't get held responsible in college? That doesn't make any sense. When Ohio State, when the Urban Meyer and all that stuff was happening with Zach Smith and with Trusser, with Tattoo Gate and all that, Desmond said if you break a rule and all this, you need to be fair and all this stuff. Yeah, So, I didn't feel like Harbaugh should be suspended. I want him there. I ain't gonna lie. Because I don't want to hear any crying. They already started crying. I don't want any excuses. If they beat Ohio State, they beat Ohio State. My whole thing is, first of all, everybody has to get past their games. They got to get past Maryland. Michigan needs to get past Maryland. Ohio State needs to get past Minnesota. But, if you beat Ohio State, focus on winning the national championship. The first year you beat Ohio State, okay, you lost to Georgia. We get it, cool. Last year was no excuse. You know what I'm saying? In Ohio State, you need to be focusing on beating Michigan and winning the national championship. I just have, for some reason, this could be just reckless thinking. I feel like both of them are going to play in the championship game this year. I think they're the two best schools. I do. And I think the best player in college football is Marvin Harrison. But kudos to Michigan. That was a tough victory. Penn State, I don't know. Y'all could be that third team, but you may not. You may have missed the boat because now Oregon, Washington, and USC is coming to the Big Ten next year, so you might be fourth or fifth. That's how quick stuff happens. So, but the coach crying and all that shit, like talking. They made it. They made it as if they're the victims, like they're being wrongly accused. Like, nah, man, your friend has got a mind comp of sorts of saying how he wants to be the Michigan coach, and he has paperwork showing how he's going to games and all this stuff. So somebody had to provide all that stuff. He didn't have it like that off the field. There's some things that is true, like. And then y'all talking about Ohio State and everybody else cheated. Like, well, they did it like that he did it too. Like, now if y'all saying that y'all saw the same kind of people like Connor Stallions on your sideline and you provided documentation, I'd be out for it. Because that's what the issue is not the sign stealing, is the extent of going to other people's games and stuff that you're not supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know everybody trying to move the goalposts and trying to move the distraction, but that's what it is. You broke a damn rule. And you already was suspended. Harbaugh was suspended earlier for something that he lied about, whether you think it's stupid or not. Like, he's not innocent. This is the same thing when Urban was going through certain things. That's how people felt. And it's funny how now the shoe's on the other foot. I think people were saying, well, there's smoke, there's fire. A couple of things didn't even have anything to do with Urban. Not saying Urban is a great coach. I don't know what they do off the field. The Zach Smith, I lived in Columbus at that time. There was it's funny how the things that are reported on the news and things that you hear like on the streets and stuff like that is totally different. Now people knew what certain situations is. It's like, the majority of people around the country think Michigan's cheating. They think it's about Ohio State and all that. Nah, y'all look crazy. You look crazy. The dudes allegedly on the Central Michigan side like that right there, that looks crazy. And y'all trying to rally. Usually when you do a rally cry now, that's because you've been wrongly accused and stuff like that. No, you've been accused and y'all look guilty. That was y'all do it in the locker room. Now, it's everybody else. So, they have this court case on Friday. I hope they just suspend him for one more game so he can go to the Ohio State game. That will be the most watched college football game in history. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all of that. But shout out to Michigan. This is their best team ever. And I mean, Harbaugh leaving after this year. He ain't going to get no better team than this. You know. And that's my issue with Michigan. Like, you saw Kirby build Georgia to, once he got there, now they were there, but they were specifically there. It looks like after this year, whether Harbaugh, if he stays or not, which it doesn't look like he'll be staying, I don't know if they're going to be like that every, like Ohio State, Alabama, like Clemson. Just every year that we in there. Michigan just joined the party. Y'all just now getting here as far as being top 5 for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. That was in the 90s. Y'all ain't did that in a minute. So, I mean, if you want to talk about when y'all was popping when it was still segregated, yeah, y'all can have that. I don't count no stats. I mean, you see it, but nah, that shit's an asterisk. I mean, some people may not like that, you know. I don't count nothing in sports before segregation and integration. You can acknowledge it though. You can respect it. But the best weren't always in the best league. So I move on. Michigan get me like that sometimes. But listen, I don't like when Michigan wins. But if they win and they win the national championship, man, I'll salute them. I'm not that deep with it anymore. When I was younger, I used to be mad, man. All these people is humans. Like, I'm Ohio State. I can't act like I ain't like the Fab Five. You know what I'm saying? Next, we're just going to go over the Ohio State victory real quick, you know. Shout out to Ohio State, 38-3. They won very easy. Shout out to McCord. McCord went 24 for 31 for 335 yards and 3 touchdowns. Throwing that pill to the best player in college football. Marvin Harrison went 7 for 149 and 3 total TDs, including 2 receiving and 1 on a 19-yard reverse. I like Kyle McCord. He doesn't look smooth, but he does some stuff in certain time periods that let me know he keeps it cool. Even though he might throw a couple to you, or he might give you a chance, he's been in some pressure-packed situations, and he's come through. Or some situations like it was a 2nd and 21 or 3rd and 21, and he dropped that into Marvin Harrison a couple games ago, or the Notre Dame drive. It's just he shows some poise. And everybody wants him to be perfect. And as I said before, it's a little difficult when, I mean, yes, Ohio State, so you got more talent, but when you got arguably 2 of the top 5 receivers in the country and one is gone, or you got one of the top 5 or 6 running backs in the country and he's gone, hey, that throws off your rhythm. You know, that could throw off your rhythm, and you're going against decent teams, you know. When you got a corner that's looking to be an All-American, he's out. Things don't look that smooth. But you know what? And unfortunately, Mayan Williams is gone for the season. They've been off and on, so they've just been finding a way to make it work, and they're getting better. Like I said before, I've said it previously, all those teams that we had the glitz and glamour, we didn't win. It was the teams that faced some adversity, and then they found their rhythm around this time is what was able to persevere. Not to say them other teams weren't great, because they definitely were. But I'm just saying, like, it may not look how people want it to look, but it's coming. And so we know what the tests are. Get through this Minnesota game, and then, of course, Michigan in a week. Defense played great. The total yards was 530 for Ohio State, 182 for Michigan State. You know, Michigan State's in a transition year. You know, a lot of stuff that happened with Mel Tucker. I don't know that situation. I don't wish bad on no man. I just know I ain't like him when he was a Chicago defensive coordinator. I ain't, but now his business, whatever happened there, sounded a little wild, but Michigan State, you know, it was good for Ohio State to look good and get some other players. Got a little players a lot of time. Eichenberg didn't play. I don't think Denzel played. CJ and Cody Simons got to get some more run. CJ Hicks. Looks like Ransom is out for the rest of the regular season, which gives Styles some more time. Who's 6'2", 6'4", 230. That's like Sean Taylor kind of, but a little taller, but can play at so many different spots as far as nickel safety, linebacker safety. I know they have different names for him, star, rover, whatever. He could play both safeties, so he's due, and he's getting it. Like, he just needs to get in the position where it's his, so he can, because he's going to be crazy, and he has a couple big plays because he can match up with a lot of people. 6'4", 230, you can match up with a tight end like a Brock Bowers. You see what I'm saying? Not saying you're going to win, but you got somebody the same size that can move just like him. Nobody else really got that. So the defense is playing great, as they have been all year. Haven't given them a big play. It'll be different. We will see when the game happens. But they've been consistent all year. And so just want to give kudos to them. What else am I need to talk about? The Chicago Bears. Looks like, I don't know if they want to keep Justin or not. Like, I keep saying, if you don't want to keep him, man, just trade him to Atlanta. It's crazy because I'm tired of being a Bears fan, but I can actually see their plan, and I can see their plan working. Let Justin and coaching figure out what works. You have some talent there. The defense starting to round into shape. Let Justin get a defense that didn't give up 25 points in 14 straight games. Let him, and then of course he comes back during the tough part of the schedule. Nobody cares because they want him out. So now you got to be amazing. You know what I'm saying? And he can be or he can't be. Whichever it is, I just want him to be the best for him because they did him dirty. And that was ownership. His first 2 years were full of shit. Now his third year, he need to be like Jalen Hurts and all that shit. And I thought he could and all that because I saw their plan. But if they couldn't get a pass rush, it really doesn't matter. If the offensive line wasn't healthy to begin with, it really doesn't matter. And he does. He made a lot of mistakes too. Don't get it twisted. He needs to get better. But damn, that play calling needs to get better too. Because you see that things can work. And so people talk about they want Badger in. Alex Brown, he just be so, he has some, you can't, the way you talk about certain people and then you can't say, I don't got nothing against them. You got something against them. You may just not like him. You may just be fed up where he played and is frustrated and you don't like him because of that. But it's not objection. You're not speaking objective. So you know more. He knows more than me. He played football. I get it, but it's certain ways that you talk about people where, like, damn, all right, like nothing he can do, like you know what I'm saying? Like, if he didn't do what he did last year, they probably would have traded him. They basically left him out to dry last year. He had to become a running quarterback that he never was at Ohio State. He had to fend and do whatever he could do so he can get this year after they gutted the team. I didn't see Jacksonville. Jacksonville fired their coach, just like Chicago fired their coach. They didn't gut everybody. They retooled. That's what good teams do. That's what good organizations do. They retool. Unless you just go for a re-gutting or, like, very few. And if you do go for a re-gut, then you pick your quarterback. But, man, Justin, hopefully he starts this weekend. He looks like he's on the way to start, and I hope they do good. Who knows? It's gonna go one or two ways, but either way, I rock with Fields, man. Y'all want to get Caleb Williams? Get Caleb Williams. I ain't saying nothing bad about them because I ain't did nothing to me personally. But all right, it's just funny. I mean, Leonard Floyd, he ain't looked that good. But I don't know. Somehow he went to L.A. with a decent system. He looked better. When he's in Buffalo, he looks better. Our best player, Roquan Smith, couldn't be an All-Pro when he was in Chicago. Now he's a perennial All-Pro. Now he's properly rated as one of the best linebackers in the league. It's funny what happens when you get with a winning organization. You know. I get frustrated at a lot of things, but I'll be all right. I'm going to be okay. You know what else I want to talk about? This is the last thing, and then just real quick, the tournaments I know is about to come on and stuff like that. The Los Angeles Clippers, I can't believe that they traded for James Harden. They messed up their whole feng shui, and nobody wants to admit it. Now, it does take games to get better, but you brought a dark cloud in there. You seen the Dallas Maverick announcer guy go off on James Harden. I'm a James Harden fan. I am getting close to not. I mean, I don't know, but like why y'all just stepped on Russell's momentum and everything. And Kawhi, the body, you can't hide body language, and they showing the body language. You know what I'm saying? Like Russell brings the energy that they play with. That they even though Russell he gets on Kawhi nerves a little bit, they figure it out. You know, it's still going to push the ball. You still can give it up to PG and Kawhi to create. So they still will get their touches, still getting the touches of the ball. Now with James in now, it's overcompensating. Defense ain't like that. And they you could tell, man, they not happy. So Clippers just clippering. They can be very dangerous. I seen Pat Bev say they can be very dangerous come playoff time. If they make it there, they got to make it there. And I also understand they made a trade for James Harden because most of the time Kawhi and Paul George are not in the lineup at the same time. But for some reason, I was like, this will be the season that they'll be healthy. So they tried to overcompensate. They tried to overthink the situation. And right now, it's biting them in the Watusi. That's all I got for now. It's going to be more, you know. Check me out, Ray Rob, Instagram, RayRob97. So same handle as Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. I'm trying to think of all the ones. And, you know, on Facebook page, The Ray Rob Report, 2 podcasts. I got The Ray Rob Report and then with Sports with Ray. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
4 pieces of advice that changed my mentality. 1. Stop being afraid to spend money. You go out and spend $100 on good food and drinks, so what? You had a good time with your friends. You spend $1,000 to travel, so what? Your time on this planet is a gift. You can always get back money, but you can't get back time. 2. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is believing that love is finding the right person. In reality, love is about becoming the right person. Don't go looking for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Become the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. The people who deserve you will naturally gravitate towards you. 3. 85 to 90% of life is just showing up. That's it. If you show up, there's a chance that something might happen. You must leave your comfort zone and try new things, because truly, you'll never know what opportunities you're missing out on until you just go out and do it. Lastly, 4. You will always have problems. You will always